Are you looking for the perfect realtor to guide you through your next home buying experience? Maybe you need to list a property. Tuesday Reynolds is the one you dial up. Leave the hassle to a trusted expert who cares. Whether you're a family of four moving into a new neighborhood or a first-time buyer not knowing where to start, Tuesday has you covered any day of the week. Call Wallace Real Estate on Peters Road at 865-693-1111 and ask for Tuesday Reynolds or dial 276-525-5205. Are you looking? And welcome back to Fanrun Varsity Spotlight. Can't believe it's here. It's season 2, episode 1. Friday Night Lights back underway. High school football has begun. Jamborees in the area kicked off this past week, leading into the weekend. I was out at Hardin Valley last night to check out some of the teams that were there. And one of the teams in particular that, in my opinion, looked the most physical, the most ready to get back to action was the Bearden Bulldogs. And there's a lot of buzz surrounding the program. No one better to bring on the show, get things kicked off for us at FDS than head coach Josh Jones of the Bearden Bulldogs. And you've got a dog barking of your own, don't you, Coach?
Yeah, that's no pun. No pun intended. Sorry about that. He's not very obedient.
Hey, you had some dogs that were loud yesterday. I tell you what, man. Like I said, from my seat, you guys seemed like the most ready, the most physical, the loudest in terms of chatter on the sidelines, picking each other up, whether it was the ones or the twos. How about from your chair? What were your takeaways, albeit just a quarter of football, but what were your takeaways from the Jamboree?
You know, I've got a very competitive staff, got a very competitive football team, and all spring, summer, fall camp has been incredibly competitive. So it was finally good for it not to be Bearden versus Bearden on a field for once, like it's been for the last few months. So it was good to put the pads on, hop on a bus, get underneath the lights, and do a, even though it was just one quarter, do a dress rehearsal. And the kids were excited to get out there and compete against somebody else. Jamborees are kind of what they are. As a coach, our main goal last night was literally first and foremost, get out of there healthy. So that was the first goal. The next goal is to try to play a bunch of kids. With that being said, we tell ours, no matter who's on the field, the expectation, the standard does not change. We still expect to win when the scoreboard is turned on, and we expect to compete and do well among all those things. But, overall, I was pleased. But it's one of them things where if it really goes your way, you can't get too high. If it don't go your way, you can't get too low because, we woke up this morning, we were still 0-0, and we got an incredibly challenging football schedule ahead of us that we're excited about.
Like I said, there's a lot of buzz surrounding your program, and you don't have high expectations in year 2 if you don't lay a good foundation in year 1. What were your, coming out of year 1 into the off season, coming into this year, 2023, what were some positives that you were able to take away out of that first year in the program and carry over?
We've got really fun kids to coach, man. They show up every day to work hard. You don't have to do motivating speeches or beg them to work or beg them to come or anything like that. The Coach Sinlever, the previous staff had done a really good job in terms of structure and foundation and work ethic and stuff. So, for us, that part was really easy. We just had to, teach them ball and teach them our schemes and, and what we wanted. So, 2022 was as me, I'm a competitor, so you never want to be satisfied with 7-5, but I'm also a realist as well, and we played a challenging schedule last year with a very, very inexperienced football team. Even though we had some older guys, but a lot of those older guys were playing new positions, obviously in brand new schemes, and there was definitely some bright spots among 2022, but we are really fired up. We thought the 2022 group laid a great foundation for the 2023 team.
I want to talk about the Josh Jones effect because that's a statement that I've heard. I was able to grab one of your assistants last night, tight ends coach Matt Mead. And he's a guy that's joining you yet again to work with. And he said that, he called it the Josh Jones effect, that because players want to play for you, coaches want to work for you. And whether you heard that or not, to hear a colleague say that about you, what does that mean to you?
Well, first off, Coach Mead, man, it's awesome. I was so excited to be able to get him, on our staff and get back to working with him again. He's hilarious. He's a great football coach. He's a very smart, intelligent young man. He's fun to have in the coach's office. And he keeps things entertaining there. But I've always been blessed, man. I'm just me, and I've always been blessed to work with great coaches, to get to coach really good players, and it ain't nothing special about me, man. I'm the better players I got, the better coach I am, but man, I just love coaching with kids, and I just work hard, try to treat people right. And one thing I like to at least say I feel about myself is I'm I'm very honest. I like to say I'm a realist. I'm not real fake. So, kind of everybody kind of knows where they stand, with me and stuff. But I try to treat people how I want to be treated. And same way with kids. Love coaching kids. Love making a difference in kids' lives. The wins and losses, always will come and go. But, I like, when you see a former player come back years down the road. And it's been crazy because the last couple of weeks, I've probably ran into not Bearden players, because I've only been there a year. But I've probably ran into no less than 8 to 9 kids. Some I've coached as much as almost 20 years ago, and it's just great to see their dads now and married, and workers out in our community and citizens of our community and stuff. And it's just great to, I love it when I get to see those kind of things, because that's what makes it worth it. But there's no Josh Jones effect, man. It's just I've been blessed to coach good players and be around some really good coaches, and everything I've learned from somebody else. I've got a lot of resources, and I try to utilize those resources to the best of my advantage, and and so forth. But Coach Mead's awesome. It's great to have him with us.
Another thing he mentioned was, hopping back on staff with you. He wasn't a Bearden before, but obviously he's worked with you before. But he mentioned that even though it was his first time with you at Bearden, after you had that year one of that foundational, formation, he said he couldn't tell the newcomers apart from the guys that had been there. That was kind of one key thing he touched on, and how tight knit that you guys were, and how ready and prepared you guys are. But I wanted to talk about some of those newcomers, like Brody Smith, Ja Merriweather. Merriweather flashed explosive, last night. How can some of those guys, those newcomers, maybe there's some other names that folks need to hear about. How will those newcomers play a role in 23?
I really like where our football culture is. Beard's a great place. We got kids from all walks of life, and we've had a few new players, come in this year, and they just welcome them in with open arms, with family. We had a kid. I was out at a restaurant a few days ago, just eating, nearby the school, and one of our newer players comes in with one of our veteran players. They were already made a relationship, hanging out off the field, stuff like that. Things like that's pretty cool to see. But we've got you name Brody, man. Brody, obviously, the family he comes from, he's got great genetics. He's a giant, and he's 15
Yep.
years old, and he's a sophomore in high school. And it's incredible, man. I don't know what future NFL players look like when they're 15, but if they don't look like him, then I don't know what they look like. But he's you think about Brody, he is an ultimate competitor. He wants perfection on the practice field. He's never outworked. He competes his guts out every single day. He demands and expects perfection of himself on every single rep, every single snap at practice. And I'm a big believer in you're going to play like you practice. There's no such thing as I'm going to flip the switch on game day and all of a sudden turn it on. So he we see it every single day in practice, and he does a great job. You mentioned Jaheim. Met Jaheim back in, I guess it was February. When he came to us, and he's just done an incredible job with our transition. We're a very, very tough and demanding coaching staff on our players. In my opinion, football's a hard sport. I don't believe you can be easy on them and expect to be tough and hard on game days. So therefore, in everything we do, from training and preparation and practice, we try to be tough and demanding. And Jaheim accepted it right out of the gate. He's not resisted it. He's adjusted incredibly well. He's doing well in school. And obviously he's getting better every single day on the field. Coach Crawford, our running backs coach, has done an incredible job with him. He's coached a long time, coached at the college level, coached at state championship level, high school programs. So he's been around. As he'll tell you, he's been around 100 years, and does a great. He's just done. Him and Jai's clicked and done a great job, and he's done a really good job of developing him. I can already see the difference between spring ball and fall camp with him, and we're excited about him. Let's see, man. I'll miss some. I hate it when I have to just shoot from the hip on names because I'm gonna leave some people out. But Joe, late June, we got a Joe Cox, offensive lineman. Come in, Big Joe. He's 6'5", 330, and those are legit sizes. That's not just roster sizes. He is absolutely massive, and he's a good old country boy, and he's an incredible kid, man. Just getting to know him, being around him, quiet kid, but he also is a competitor, and he's getting better every single day. Learning new schemes and stuff. And our kids have welcomed all them guys with open arms, and they hang out, outside of school and outside of practice and stuff. So that's always good to see, because football is a team sport, and you can't be individuals out there. You got to be brothers, and when you love somebody, you're going to care and fight a lot harder for him than someone that you don't.
What about some key returners? Obviously, Sam Tummins, he was a guy that didn't play last night, but he returns along with signal caller Drew Parrott. And then on the defensive side, you've got a key piece in the defensive backfield with Kai Young. Those guys, maybe there's some others. What are the returners? How do they play into this mix?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sam Tummins is a best way I can describe Sam Tummins, man. He is a football player. He is an incredible young man off the field. He's the kind of kid that you want your son to grow up and be like and stuff. He's incredible in the classroom. Smart young man, very respectful. We're seeing more of a leadership side out of him this summer and fall camp. It's been great. He's been sidelined the last few weeks with a little nagging injury. He's been practicing lately, which is good. We expect him to be back and ready to go. When we kick off there next week. But he's an ultimate competitor, man. He might be quiet at times, man. When he puts that helmet on, man, he's a thumper. He's on the defensive side, he's a great route runner. He don't care to go across the middle, make the tough catches on offense. You got Drew Parrott. Couldn't be more proud. Anyone that knows me well, knows that I'm, even though I'm tough and demanding on my football team, but I'm incredibly tough and demanding on my quarterbacks. I demand a lot of time out of them through meetings and so forth. And Drew is just a student of the game. He's a coach's son. He wants to be the best version of Drew Parrott that he can be, and no one is harder on Drew Parrott than himself. He demands and expects that perfection. He is. I'm so excited where he's at right now. Coach McMillan has done our quarterback coach has done a really good job with him. He's so far ahead of where he was 12 months ago. The game has slowed down. Last year, we were kind of teaching him concepts and, and everything. And this year we're getting to, take the next steps, and we're getting to actually teach him all the details of the concepts and the whys and all that good stuff. And, one of the best compliments I can give Drew as a quarterback is very rare does he make the same mistake twice. And I think that says a lot about where he's at from a mental side, because the game at that position is way more mental than it is physical. And, we're really excited about him. And I think you mentioned we've got a bunch of returners, man. Kai Young. Kai Young is just steady Eddie, man. He's an incredibly hard worker. I don't know if anybody on our football team gets more out of their ability than Kai Young. He does everything right. He's a student of the game. He works incredibly hard. He's real knowledgeable, real smart. Coach Lane, is his position coach, and he's done a great job with him. Getting him really understanding, our back end and our calls and so forth. And we've got a bunch of them, man. I mean, we got, the defensive backfield. You got Chad Smith, who's been sidelined, but we should be getting back here this week. He's an incredibly talented young man. Hence the reason why he's only a sophomore, and he's got 15 plus Division I offers already. You got Cody Clow back there, a senior that might be small in stature, but by God, he's as tough as nails. He can run. He's deceptively very athletic. He'll flat put the pads on you for a guy that don't weigh no more than he does. He's a striker. Guys like Torrey Beaufort, he led us in catches last year as a freshman. Ain't many freshmen at the 6A level even playing on Friday nights, much less leading their team in catches. Torrey is another one, not be small in stature, but he's got the heart of a freaking lion. And he's just an incredible young man. He works incredibly hard, and he's so gifted and talented,
Yeah, I was going to ask about Drew going into year 2 of your offense. What can he do to elevate his game, take it to the next level? Because looking at 2022, year 1 there, man, you guys were 4-0 when you scored 34 or more. And most people would say you probably expect that, but it's high school football. I mean, it can get, depending on the matchup, it can get high scoring. But it really felt like, if you watched your team last year, when the offense was clicking, man, things were really, really going for you guys.
Yeah, we were offensively last year, the scheme we run is not easy.
Right.
And it's everything I've learned. I try to learn from, like I said, the higher level, and we try to do that. If we feel like we can coach it, we do. We just don't see something on TV and say, oh man, let's do that. No, if we don't have all the coaching points, and I'm a big details person when it comes to scheme. If we don't know all the ins and outs and the details of it, we don't put it in just because we saw a cute play, on Monday Night Football or anything like that. But, so our scheme is not a, a ready-made, execute day one, stuff. And, we didn't really know what our identity was going to be. So we threw a lot of stuff at them last year and saw what stuck and what we were going to be good at. And we were kind of evolving, all season long, trying to, maybe we're going to be good at this. Maybe we wasn't as good. We didn't coach it as well or something. And so if you watch this from the front to the back, you saw kind of a different offense as it went for the most part. But Drew is a quarterback. He is, golly, man, the game has slowed down for him. He's got an incredible understanding of what we're trying to do. He knows how to read coverages. He knows how to work off defenders. He knows what his progression order is. We do some stuff where, it's coverage related. And if it's this coverage, your read is A, B, and C. And if it's that coverage, your read is D, E, and F. That's just an example. They don't really go like that, but that's just an example. And, he's able to process all that really fast. Because to be able to play quarterback in our offense, you have to be able to process fast. And we give our guys a lot of freedom. Talking about the quarterbacks, they get to play the position. We don't have them over there with their hands tied behind their back, and we're telling them who to throw the ball to, or let them just work off one simple guy all the time for a simple high-low or whatever. They really get to play the position, and a lot of what we do is is coverage based and things like that. So he's able to process all that a lot quicker now. He's got a much more understanding of what we're doing, and then probably I probably could. That's a long answer. I probably could answer it all. He's way more confident right now.
Taking a look back at last season, you mentioned the evolution. You guys were figuring out your identity. Along the way, you picked up big wins. I mean, you won at Cleveland, at Dobbins Bennett in a playoff atmosphere. You got wins against Oak Ridge and Bradley Central, and you had 3 one-score games that were losses. So a lot of positives to take out of that. And one matchup in particular that kicked things off last year was that 27-7 loss against West. You guys get to avenge that, and it starts right now, week 1. Going into this week, what are you guys looking at? Well, what's the key focus to be able to avenge that loss to the defending 5A state champs?
Well, first off, Coach Brown and his staff, man, they do a great job. Every year, I've played them every year I was at Powell, we played them. Obviously, playing them now at Bearden, so played them a bunch. We're familiar with them; they're familiar with us. But you're like, oh man, I'm so glad, blank number graduated. So glad blank number graduated. And they just roll out a new one that looks like him, and he's just as good, if not better. So he's done an incredible job with that program. They graduate good players, and then they got good players waiting. So they're doing a really good job over there with their staff is. Uh, we just got to prepare and worry about us. One thing we do, we practice well. Like I said, our kids come to work every day. Our kids are pleasers. They know what's at stake. They're incredibly excited about the opportunity. They know it's going to be a tough task. Obviously, West is a really good team. It's a rivalry game. I think it's been several years since Beard's been able to beat West. So hopefully we can reverse that trend. But it's day by day. We're gonna meet tomorrow, and we started a little earlier last week, but we're gonna meet tomorrow and solidify our game plan and go over stuff, and we'll practice all week and take it day by day, and just really excited about the opportunity. We know it's not going to be easy, but it's an opportunity that we're excited about. We've got a really tough schedule, but we're going to take it one game at a time, 1 week at a time, and kind of see where we stand.
Coach, one acronym that I know you use a lot, I think you guys are still using it, is EAT. And
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, I think it's effort, accountability, and toughness. Is that right?
Trust.
Trust. There
Yes.
we go.
Yeah.
And
So
you like to eat yourself. I know when you're traveling, always seeing the pictures of some nice cuisine. I
yeah,
don't know if you got a sweet tooth or not, but I'm gonna if you don't, I'm gonna have you act like it for a second. Are you into cookies?
man, when it comes to food, if it's good, I'll eat it. I joke all the time. Our little hashtag eat. It's effort, accountability, trust. It's what our program's built on. The number one fundamental of football is effort. My personal humble opinion.
Oh yeah.
But the love sweets, love food. That all started a few years ago with some buddies. They know I like to eat well and I like to eat a lot. So that I was going somewhere, I don't even remember where. And they're like, man, send us some pictures of the places you're eating. So it just kind of started, and more buddies picked up and chimed in. Hey, when you're going here, make sure you post some pics. So it's just for a handful, small group there, just to have some fun with. But I love to eat. And to answer your question, absolutely, I love cookies.
Well, I know you're a playmaker as well, or at least one that draws it up. So I'm going to ask you what play you're going with here out of this 6-pack of cookies from our friends at Crumble Cookies. Folks, go check them out. There's 3 locations now in the Knoxville area. We've got the Clinton Highway location, the Parkside Drive location. That would probably be closer to Bearden, and then also the brand new location out in Maryville. Coach, this lineup this week for the crumble cookies. We've got semi-sweet chocolate chunk. We've got Kentucky batter cake, pink donut, Buckeye brownie. It's a decadent treat with layers of chocolate brownie, peanut butter, and a smothering melted semi-sweet chocolate drizzle. We've also got vanilla crumb cake. And then last but not least, this one's a sneaky good one for me. It is the lemon bar cookie. So out of those, Coach, I know it's probably a tough decision, but who's your first round pick out of those
I,
options?
you know, I'm this way with food, sweets, no matter what it is. I'm not real exotic, so I'm
Old reliable.
I'm a simple guy. I love me some chocolate chip now, so I've got to go with number one. All of them sounded good, and my teeth were falling out as you was naming each one. But I think I got to go with number one, the semi chocolate chunk. Right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah. And so the deal with that is they have decided to so their original chocolate chip cookie is fantastic. Probably one of the best chocolate chip cookies you'll ever have. Well, what happened was they've started rolling out mixing in this semi-sweet chocolate chunk. So it's got the bigger chunks of chocolate, and it's got a sprinkle of sea salt. So it's kind of that salty sweet mix. And so what they're doing now is they're alternating week to week. One week it'll be the semi-sweet chocolate chunk. The next week it'll be the original chocolate chip cookie. You can't go wrong either way. So I
Right.
mean, it's a popular choice. It's old reliable. I kind of like to get exotic now. Like I said, the chocolate chip is outstanding. Can't go wrong with it. Uh, but out of this week's lineup, I'll offer up Kentucky batter cake. Do not overlook that one. It's a yellow butter cake cookie smothered with melt in your mouth buttery glaze. It's really, really good. So, folks, like I said, go check it out. Crumble Cookies. Download the app. You can pick up, carry out, delivery, whatever you want. They won't disappoint. They've got a great lineup each and every week. And coach, the Bearden Bulldogs, you all have a tough lineup. I mean, offensively, defensively. Does it feel like you're ahead of schedule just a little bit? I mean, looking back to like this time last year, or maybe in the spring of last year, do you think you're ahead of schedule a little bit?
I mean, we had a plan, but when it come to win loss records and where we wanted to be year one, year two, from on the scoreboard, we didn't really have those kind of things. I'm a competitor. I cannot stand to lose. I've always been blessed to coach good players in my time, so therefore, it means we've won a lot of games. Um, so we just wanted to win and win in a hurry because I'm not very patient when it comes to the alternative. Uh, but God, our schedule is so dang tough, man. I've told I don't know how many people that's asked, what are you going to be like in 2023? And I am very, very confident in saying that we're going to be a much better football team in 2023. Now, what will the scoreboard show? Who knows? Because we play pretty much everybody that's the best team in the area, for the most part. Our league's incredibly tough. Our out of league schedule is incredibly tough. We open with 3 straight state champions. But are we ahead or whatever? I don't know. I mean, I'm pleased with where we are. Our kids are working really hard. We still got some youth. We're going to be starting some sophomores, and there ain't many teams or any, that are good teams anyway that start sophomores at the 6A level.
Yep.
But we are. They're good. They're good players, but they're still 15 years old. And learning this and that and all that good stuff. But we're just really excited about the season. Our kids have worked incredibly hard. I'm just happy I get a front row seat every Friday to their view, get to watch them for all their hard work, see all their hard work pay off.
Coach, thanks for the time. We'll see what you can do. Saturday, it all starts Saturday, a big time matchup against the West Rebels, the 5A state 5A defending champions.
Yep.
Uh, Man, can't wait for it. I can't believe it's here. We will be sure to keep track of you and the Bearden Bulldogs as you guys continue to progress and elevate the program and see what you can do in 6A. Coach, we'll catch up with you later, and I really appreciate the time.
Hey, we appreciate you. Appreciate what you guys are trying to do for high school football. You are welcome at Bearden High School anytime. So just stop by, practice, game. It don't matter, man. You got open door policy.
Absolutely, man. And I'll try to bring cookies. If you think I can make it past the offensive line, I'll try to. I don't know if I can outrun Brody Smith as big and as athletic as he is, but I can do my best.
Our kids eat, man. Our parents do a great job of bringing in food for them during camp. We brought food in every single day. Our parents did, and they would bring food in by the just golly by the boxes after boxes after boxes. And by the end of the night, there would be nothing left. Our kids, man, they can put away some food. So if you bring some, make sure I get some first before anybody else does.
Absolutely, coach. Hey, maybe I can make a deal with Brody to be my lead blocker and work around anything that and land a touchdown in your office.
That's right. That's a good one to run behind. And I want to say one last thing before we get off. There's
All
a
right.
young man that I didn't mention that has worked incredibly hard. He's just going to be a sophomore, and his natural ability is unreal. He is about almost 25 pounds heavier than where he was a year ago as a freshman. He's faster. He's picked up some offers this offseason, and he will be a household name in East Tennessee here in the very near future. and that's sophomore running back Jason Thompson. He is incredibly special, and I'm blessed that I get to coach him.
Awesome stuff, Coach. Thanks for the insight and the commentary. Like I said, we can't wait till this thing kicks off next weekend. You guys are going to be in the spotlight. Thank you for coming on and getting on the spotlight here at Fanrun Varsity Spotlight. Man, it was a pleasure, Coach. And like I said, we will catch up with you very soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Go Dogs.
Thank you, man.
That's it.